Greetings, friends. We are Ariel's light, and we are here to help, to guide, to shine light, to enlighten, and to uplift. You have questions for us?
I do. So last week you spoke about energy portals bringing in higher vibrational energy, which then highlights perhaps a discrepancy of where we are currently with what the future possibility or potential will be. I wondered if you could speak more on how to start transforming some of these heavier energies that we might be carrying. What I know that you've mentioned in the past, like different therapeutic techniques, but I know journaling, meditation, chanting, there are so many different things that people can do on their own, but I wonder if there is anything practical that you could talk about as to how we can start moving, shifting this energy that we might be carrying that's holding us back.
Yes. Yes, that is a very good clarification that is needed, and we thank you for that. We tend to forget what it was like to be in the human experience, and so we are very grateful that you are asking us to bring it back to the human experience. The very first step is a willingness to look behind you. There are many who look to bringing more light into their lives as a way of, we will use the word escaping from what has come before. The pains, the carrying of those lower vibrational emotions of anxiety and depression and fear must be looked at. And this is something that is a very, very large challenge, for it's a bit converse, for it was those intense lower vibrational emotions and lower vibrational experiences of violence and betrayal that created the need to look beyond, to find a different way to be. And as each human moves into that space of identifying that more light is needed, and that there is a desire, an intense desire to live more in alignment with the soul and with the light energy that is abundant on this planet and in the universe, that then they must stop, take that deep breath, and be willing to look at the causation of the lower vibrational experiences. For each incarnation that you have, that each person that is alive on this planet at this time is here in service to their soul. The soul is the part of you that has broken from the source, that exists in order to bring more light. Its purpose is to bring more light into the universe, to expand the universe, for the universe is always expanding. Source is always expanding and bringing new life and new experiences and new aspects of the many universes that exist. And so the soul is rather the manager of those experiences. So that for each incarnation that you have had on this planet, and we will speak in terms of the one that you are in right now, you meaning the global you, that there has been a purpose for everything that you have experienced, that you have come here to aid your soul in bringing more healing, into bringing more light, into evolving as a soul. So you see, it is a very symbiotic relationship between the individual soul, the group souls, the soul families, and the planet that you are currently inhabiting. One cannot be done without the other. And so the first step is looking back. On a global, it is looking back and saying, civilizations have been decimated by war. We need to heal that. the planet is suffering because of pollution and because of poor choices. We need to heal that. And that is very important work. And it's happening simultaneously, but the work on an individual level is as important. They are equally as important to look back and say, why did I experience that? There is a common rebellion that as people move into more and more enlightenment and they are told or they experience that your life is a choice and that it comes from your soul wanting to experience whatever it is in this particular lifetime. And there is a rebellion that says, there's no way that I would choose to be abused. There's no way that I would choose to be abandoned. There's no way that I would choose to come in and as an infant have cancer. There's no way that I would do any of that. And I refuse to accept that. That is the first step, is coming into a place of accepting and acknowledging that there is a purpose for everything that you experience that was not of your own making. And for the first 14 to 16 to 18 years of your life, most of what you experienced was not of your own making. It was set into play by your blueprint that you and your soul developed for what you wanted to learn and what you wanted to heal in this lifetime. And as you move into young adulthood and you get into that place of rebelliousness and saying, I reject what I have experienced, I reject what has come before. And this is an important step in the process. But then you must come to that place where you say, I take responsibility for myself. And it is done on a physical level as a 20-something or 30-something that says, oh my goodness, I cannot blame my parents any longer. I cannot blame this situation. I cannot blame this. I need to take responsibility. And that is the first step, because then that leads into taking responsibility on a soul level. Understanding that you had a blueprint and that your blueprint included things that you now need to heal. And so looking backwards to understand on a soul level why you chose, learning what you chose to learn from each one of those so that you can move forward into the light is the first step. Again, there are many ways to do that. There are so many books out there that will help you to look back and see and take responsibility. There are programs such as the Alcoholics Anonymous that were created to learn how to take responsibility for oneself. But that is the very first step, is taking responsibility for yourself, no longer blaming what came before. Because when you move into that place of taking responsibility for yourself, then you are ready to make the plunge into understanding why on a soul level.
So could you speak more on the blueprint? Because it seems that in order for us to kind of come to terms and to take responsibility, we really need to dive into the first 18 years of our life. Could you speak more on that blueprint and the kind of things that might be agreed, of the kind of, that obviously there might be shadow parts where we can then find our gold. What are those strengths and what are those positives that we can get out of some of perhaps traumatic experiences people might have had up to that point?
Yes. The blueprint is based on what came before. So that with each lifetime that you've had, whether it was on this planet or elsewhere, there are certain aspects. Well, we will speak of just on this planet. There are certain aspects of the emotional and physical nature that we spoke of at a different time that you needed to experience in order to understand this earthly experience. And again, many of you have come many lifetimes over millennia so that you could on a soul level understand what this sphere is all about, what this experience is all about in this part of the universe. And so now that we are in a place of moving forward into the healing, it is so important for you to build on what you have learned. So it could be that in another lifetime, you left that lifetime feeling that you were unlovable and that you were all alone. And you said, when you conferenced with your soul, when this aspect of your personality conferenced with your soul, you said, I want to teach myself that I am very lovable. This is a very important thing for me to learn. And so the blueprint may be laid out for a number of lifetimes, and they will be altered after each one, depending on what decisions you make. The first one may be that you choose to be born into a family that people say is the perfect family, where love abounds and the child is given so much love, and they go through life feeling very lovable. And then the next lifetime may be that you say, that was wonderful that I was given that gift. They taught me what unconditional love was like. It taught me how to love myself. Now I want to go into a situation where that is not the case, and I want to see how to find that for myself. Because in your soul, there's no such thing as being unlovable. You are whole in your soul. And when you speak of shadows and parts, that with each lifetime, you choose a different aspect to understand so that you can pull it all together, integrate it into the whole that is your soul. And so the next lifetime, you may say, I will choose, the blueprint is that I'm born into a family where maybe it's not that they are unwanted or unloved, but that they experience a loss of love, so that they are born into a family, feel an intense mother's love, and then the mother dies when they are 4 years old. And so they are left with this grieving hole of feeling that they will never be loved as their mother loved them. And that is the impetus for moving forward to finding that place of love. It is all a journey. And each blueprint sets out different experiences that you will engage in that will help to bring you to your goal of realizing what it was that you set out to realize. And so learning about unconditional love may take hundreds of lifetimes, because you wish to experience every single aspect of it until you get to the place where you say, I get it. I am my soul. My soul is love. And that is who I am. And so it seems tedious and it seems endless. But you must remember that when you are in spirit, when you are no longer confined by the three-dimensional world of the earth plane, there is no time. And things happen simultaneously. And you're gathering experiences that in your soul's mind, in your soul's experience, is maybe the blink of an eye. It is only when we are here in this planet that it feels like forever. It feels like very hard work. But we wish to say that when you are making this blueprint with your soul for each individual personality that will come through, that when you are making this, you are joyful. You are saying, yes, I want to learn that. Yes, this will help me to realize that aspect of love or lovelessness, whatever it is that you're looking at. And as you can see, that with all of the emotions that we have, there is one in the lower vibrational realm and one in the higher vibrational realm that are contrasting. There was this sense of betrayal, and then there's this sense of belonging. There is this sense of being broken, and there's this sense of being whole. And that all of your experiences per these blueprints will lead you to the place where you have the opportunity to heal that. Sometimes we take that opportunity, sometimes we don't. And so what is called karma is not a punishment. It is not a reward system. It is a cause and effect, so that you we'll go through a lifetime, and if you did not reach the conclusions that you wished to reach, that brought you into higher vibrational emotions and a higher vibrational state, then when you are with your soul again, when you're reunited, you say, I didn't quite do what I wanted to do, so I'd like to go back. Can we come up with a different blueprint that will help me to get there the next time? This is where regression therapy is very helpful, because you can go back into the past lives, view them as an observer, see what the soul purpose was, see what it was, what decisions you made that may have thwarted your goal for that lifetime, and heal it and transform it. So that is one way of doing that. If you are working with a therapist, a regression therapist, because they understand how to take you from the beginning to the end of that process. Shamanic work does much the same. They will go into the different levels of awareness and do much the same. And there's many shamanic techniques that can be utilized that will gain the same understanding, the same openness to the soul purpose. There are many, many, many different therapies that will help with that. And you may decide on your journey, as certainly our two friends who we are working with have done, is that for all of your adult life, you go from modality to modality to modality because you get something from each one. So they each have very different paths, but one has done therapeutic touch, has learned how to read tarot cards, has learned, and we will speak of this one who is doing our channeling. She has immersed herself in many, many, many different modalities, healing a little bit each step along the way. And for our friend who is holding this space for us and allowing us to know what is needed on the human realm, that she has also done the same thing, many, many different modalities to heal herself, to become aware. And it is part of the movement forward. It is never a one and done. And if one thinks that they can do a one and done and then live their lives until they're 80 or 90 years old and never have to work on anything, they are sadly mistaken. For your existence in a physical body means that your goal is always to be healing. And life does get easier as you bring more and more light into your body, more and more light into your emotions. But you are here for the earthly challenges. And if your earthly challenges have been met, then you choose to leave. Oftentimes people will choose to stay for a while to enjoy the fruits of their labor, but it is a process. And so those who ask, why did I do this? Or I couldn't have done this, we ask you to examine that first and to come to the conclusion that yes, you have.
Thank you.